What are the different factors that affect the teaching of a teacher, or how effective should a teacher be? So that's what we are going to discuss right now, the factors affecting the effectiveness of teaching. So how effective is the teaching, how should a teacher teach, what are the factors that make a difference in teaching? So that is what we are going to study right now. So there are some factors that make a difference. So what are these factors and how will they make a difference? The first one is the educational qualification. So the qualification of a teacher. So if a teacher should be qualified, there should be a minimum qualification for a certain class of students. So right now we have NET or JRF as a base for teaching in colleges. We have B.Ed as a base for teaching in schools. So just like that, so there should be a minimum qualification according to the class level of students, and a specialized teacher is always better. If there is a teacher who is specialized in a particular field, if there is a teacher who has great experience in a particular field, so that is always better. So education qualification is actually a very big factor that affects the effectiveness of teaching. Next one is skills. So skill means a teacher might have inborn skills, a teacher might have trained skills. So whatever it is, a teacher should have appropriate skills. There should be presentation skills, skill to manage the class, communication skills, skills to make the students understand better, make the students interested and all. Some of these skills may be inherent, some of these they have while they are inborn talents, as we say. Some of these can be developed through teacher trainings or through experience and all. Either way, a teacher should be skilled, and skill is one of another main factor. The next one is trust. A student should always be willing to trust the teacher. So it's not from the part of the student, actually a teacher should make the student trust him or her. The teacher should be willing to help the students. He or she should create a safe and positive learning environment. Whenever a student enters into a class or a teacher enters into a class, the students should feel that they can trust the teacher. The students should feel that they are in a good class. They should all around there should be a positive positive experience for the students. So a teacher should be willing to help the students. Next one is pace. So that is an important, the teacher should know about the pace and the capacity of the students. So and only according to the pace and only according to the capacity of the students, the teacher should adjust his or her pace of teaching. If the teacher goes too fast, the students would not be able to understand. If the teacher goes too slow, the teacher will not be able to complete the portions in time. So both of these are difficult. So there should be a proper balance, so that a teacher should have a lesson plan. We studied earlier, teacher should have a lesson plan. Teacher should have a course plan according to which the teacher should make the students understand, or the teacher should give them a plan about what will be taught today, what will be taught this month, and in how many months will the syllabus be completed now. So if there is a proper course plan, if there is a proper lesson plan, then the teacher can move forward in a moderate pace, so that all the students can understand and the teacher can complete the portions in time. Otherwise, as we said before, if the teacher goes too fast, there will be students who will not understand anything. If the teacher goes too slow, the teacher and the students will be at danger, because the portions will not be completed and there will be many portions left that the teacher has not taught. The next one is the ability to engage students. That is another factor. The teaching methods should be planned accordingly. There should be activities, games, maybe role plays, seminars, assignments and all. So by giving all these, the teacher is actually moving away from one-way communication and going deep into two-way communication. He or she is engaging the students in different activities, or else what happens is the class gets boring, the class gets ineffective. The students may start sleeping in class, the student may start getting disinterested, they look outside, they won't be actually interested in the class, and that will actually affect their maybe exams or affect their practicals or whatever it is. So what happens is the teacher should be able to engage the class or make the class more interesting, more activity based. Then comes the personality. Teacher should be patient, caring, kind. The teacher should have an empathy. He or she should not be rude or partial. We discussed about some teachers, they are partial towards students who are bright, students who are intelligent, students who score high marks. No, the teacher should not be rude. A teacher should never be partial. He or she should be kind, caring and empathetic. Then one of the main factor that affects the effectiveness of teaching is the learners themselves, the aptitude of the learners, the attitude of the learners, the prior knowledge of the learners, as we said before, the age of the learners, the skill of the learners, determination, the willpower of the learners, all these influence the effectiveness of teaching. So the increase or decrease in any of these, maybe attitude, maybe aptitude, age, skill, anything. So in the increase or decrease, it actually affects the effectiveness of teaching. If all the students in the class have good prior knowledge, then the teaching also becomes effective, because the teacher does not have to explain the basics to them. If all the students in the class have a positive attitude towards a particular teacher, the students will be interested in the class and it will have a positive effect. But for example, if the students do not like the teacher, so when the teacher enters the class, the students will have a negative attitude towards the teacher. So it will have a negative attitude, negative effect on teaching, and the students won't be interested in hearing the class. The students won't be interested in listening to the class, and it will ultimately affect their final exams or final practicals or whatever. So the learners should have a positive attitude by themselves, and along with that the teacher should be able to create a positive attitude or a positive aptitude in the learner's mind. The learner should having a prior knowledge is very it will be very effective for the teacher and the like. The next one is support material. There should be availability of support materials, and the teacher can give some extra support materials in the forms of audios and videos, because they already have their textbooks. Giving notes again or giving papers again, instead of that, giving them audios or video lectures or something like that, presentations, so it will create more interest in the students. And there are nowadays many teachers are using online tests or some internet based teaching aids, outcome based learning, outcome based education and things like that. So support materials like that will actually create more interest in the students and they will learn accordingly. The next one is the instructional facilities. Whatever facilities a college has, whatever facilities a school has, the state of the classroom, the condition of the laboratories, seminar rooms, blackboards, whiteboards, the use of internet, projectors, computers, how much a student or a teacher or an educational institution uses internet to actually teach, how much they use projectors, how much they use ICT based learning systems, ICT based teaching systems. So all these affect the effectiveness of teaching. If there are a high usage of internet, high usage of computers and projectors to teach, it will actually create a positive environment or a positive attitude towards learning for the learners. The next is the learning environment. If the teacher and student is comfortable with the environment, then teaching becomes easy as well as learning becomes easy. If not, it becomes difficult. Noisy classrooms, noise from outside, some other distractions or disinterest from the part of students, all these, the environment, if it gets negative, it will badly affect the teaching process. Then the institution. The institution also plays a very vital role here. The policies of the institution, if the institution is very strict, very rigid, then the students will also feel such rigidity in their classrooms and they will not be comfortable. But on the other hand, if the institution is very lenient, then the students will actually give more attention or more importance to other stuff other than learning, and that will also be a big problem. So there should be actually a balance strike there, a strike of balance there, so that there will be equal amount of strictness as well as equal amount of leniency in the institution. So the policy of the institution is actually important. Then as I said, if the organization is too strict, students feel irritated. If the teacher is too much controlled by the organization, then their performances will suffer. The teacher, he or she should be given an ample amount of flexibility, an apt amount of freedom. The teacher should not be so much controlled by the management or so much controlled by the organization that their performances will suffer. They'll feel that someone is always watching over them. They'll feel that their job is at stake. They'll not actually feel secure. So their performances will decrease. So it in fact turns the effectiveness of teaching becomes negative. Then If there is autonomy to choose teaching methods, classroom activities, then there will be flexibility and effectiveness in teaching. This also comes under institutions. So what happens is, if an institution gives some autonomy to the teacher, that this is the syllabus that you have to teach, but you can teach it in your own way. You yourself can design your classroom activities, you yourself can decide your teaching methods. So you can teach whatever you want, you can teach in whatever way you want, that's fine, but you have to just complete the syllabus. If an institution says like that, then the teacher will have some more flexibility as to how to teach the class or how to manage your classroom activities, what all activities to include. So the teacher will feel a little more flexible, so that he or she can complete the portions in time, and at the same time develop himself, and at the same time make the students interested in the classroom. The last one is other factors, that is the financial incentives, as we say, the salary or the bonus or anything like that. That is a that is a factor that affects the effectiveness of teaching. In the prior knowledge of students, we said it above. The parental pressure. If students have a lot of parental pressure, then students will also feel irritated. If they are let go, if they are actually let go by their parents, they will give importance to some other activities. So as we said, there should be a proper balance. Then the dedication of teacher as well as the interest of students. If there is more dedication, it will be more effective. If the students are more interested, the teaching will be more effective. So there are some factors that affects the effectiveness of teaching. I will read it out again. The educational qualification of teachers, the skill of the teachers, trust between the teachers and the students, the pace of teaching, the teacher's ability to engage the students, the personality of the teacher, the personality of the learners, then the support materials that we are providing, the instructional facilities, the facilities inside the organization, the environment inside the organization, then the organization itself, the policies in the organization, the autonomy in the organization, the controlling in the organization, and some other factors. So these are the factors that affect the effectiveness of teaching, or how effective a teaching is. These factors tell us how effective a teaching is. So once we go through this, we understand it, and once we analyze this, we can know that what type of teacher we actually should be, and then we can teach in that manner.